The views expressed on this program are those of the producers and individuals appearing on this program and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Sun Prairie Media Center staff, its video service providers, or the staff and elected officials of the City of Sun Prairie.
Hello and welcome to Real Reviews. My name is Jamison Rabbit, and the man cackling over there is the only person who knows Wilma Flintstone's maiden name. His name is Mike Roth.
It's, yeah.
Yeah?
I'm the only one who knows it. That would totally ruin my Wikipedia page if I told you.
I actually stumbled across her maiden name the other day.
What was it?
I didn't even know there was a thing. Why would you give a character like that a maiden name?
Oh, yeah.
Slaghoople.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah, but you don't know her first name.
I don't know. Mrs. Slaghoople.
One person in the world knows.
Oh, sir, we have some films to talk about this week. It's not just Hanna-Barbera nonsense. It's actual movies to talk about. So I'm going to get us started on the marquee this week with a film that I found on Amazon Prime. It is called Chemical Hearts. It is from director Richard Taney. It is a teen romance in a way that we don't normally see. It stars Lily Reinhart as a girl named Grace and Austin Abrams as Henry. Henry is a shy high school senior who works on the school paper. He's obsessed with being a writer, and so that is his one outlet for his passion of writing. Otherwise, he's pretty quiet, kind of nerdy. He's paired up with a new girl, Grace, who is a bit standoffish, and as we learn, she is kind of, to most folks, she's damaged goods. She was in a car accident the year before that has left her with a limp and a cane, and she's kind of withdrawn because of this. And their relationship begins really awkwardly, and his shyness paired with her hiding some secrets makes for this strange chemistry between the two of them. But it works. They have interesting chemistry, and Grace is... She's broken, and she readily admits that she's broken and that she's, not just physically, but, that she's got heavy emotional scars that she doesn't want to reveal to him.
Yeah.
And we kind of slowly get doses of those. Henry, he's really earnest in his pursuit of her, and he assumes that he can fix everything that's wrong with her if he just tries hard enough, right? If I'm just a good guy and I love you enough, and I can fix things. And he doesn't understand. It's not always how it works, and they kind of circle around about what each of them wants from this relationship, because there's a lot of things held back from each other, and so it's this odd dance as they're trying to figure out what the other person wants from this. Do you want me to be a friend? Do you want to go do more than this? And what I appreciate about this movie is it uses a lot of the standard tropes of your high school, your young adult romantic movie. Yeah. It uses a lot of those, but it breaks a lot of them too. And I like that it, when you thought you knew where the natural resolution was going to come on certain things, it didn't go that way. It's okay, we're gonna veer away. And Grace genuinely cares about Henry, and she has enough awareness most times to realize that she can only give him so much of herself at this time, that I need to fix myself before I can really commit to you. And Henry's kind of a character that seems to feel that this is bound to end the way all young adult teen movies do, right?
Yeah.
This is going to have a movie ending. I know how this works. And it's more complex than that. The movie's more real than that, and it's kind of fun.
I wasn't expecting that from the trailers, and especially during the season of nothing good coming out. I was looking at this as this is going to be one of those typical...
One that we've seen 100 times.
Yeah, and it got put on the bottom of my list of when I have time to watch things. And, I never got around to it, but now you made it seem like I should watch this ahead of everything else.
I think so. Spoiler alert. Possibly so. Because, I like that it doesn't follow everything that you would expect. And their chemistry together is real strength. The two leads, I think they're really great together. And, the majority of the film is them in very quiet moments, trying to figure each other out, trying to figure themselves out. and how to heal wounds, sometimes even as they're opening new wounds with each other.
Yeah.
It's an effective film, and it also, like, personally, it's one that kind of brought back some echoes and memories for myself, so I maybe connected with it a little more. But
Can you be honest, did you cry a little bit?
No, but I remember times when I did. It brought back times when I was crying at this age. But it's an enjoyable movie. Like I said, it's not breaking a ton of new ground because it does follow a formula, and then it kind of branches off here and there when you think you know where it's going.
Mm-hmm.
And it's enjoyable to see a couple of young actors kind of connect and have nice chemistry together, and I enjoyed it. So, Chemical Hearts, I give 3.5 out of 5 stars. It's an enjoyable watch. It's a nice watch on Amazon Prime. I recommend it.
That's nice. That's a good score.
Not bad.
Not bad at all.
Let's
get rolling.
Let's move on. The next film, sir, you have one that we found on Netflix.
I have The Sleepover, directed by Trish Sy, written by Sarah Rothschild. I haven't mentioned writers very often, but Rothschild, I have
Sure.
to. Got it. Yeah.
Long lost
Well, either who. We have two siblings discover that they're typically normal mom, and they are the normal kids that are just always, the teen is like, oh, she's so boring.
Got the lame mom, the PTA mom.
So lame. They find out that she's actually like a super action thief.
Yeah.
Like a high-rolling thief used to just not steal little things, but really priceless artifacts in like the spy way, where there's ninja skills and
Sure.
Gadgets. The typical laser pin is actually something that is more high-powered than anything that's available on the market or off the market. Just kind of Disney-esque TV movie type. Yeah, that's the feel I got throughout this. We have Sadie Stanley. She plays Clancy. She is the teenager that is about to get the license, thinks mom is lame. We have Maxwell Simpkins. He plays Kevin. He is the boy who's a little awkward and has a crush on Clancy's best
really
friend. Of course, the mom, she is Melaine Ackerman.
Yeah, Melaine Ackerman.
Yeah, she plays Margot. She has two names.
Yep.
And her husband, he is a cake maker. His name's Ron, played by Ken Moreno. He's also just a suburban guy who has just fingers of steel from all his baking.
And he's full of dad jokes.
And
he's your typical.
He is a very typical lame dad.
Right.
I fall in that category.
Yeah,
I
you and
do.
me both, buddy.
And they're all surprised when they find out that she is actually in a witness protection program. The bad guys come to get her once they find her. So you got to do this one last job.
Sure, of course.
You have to get the crown that's in the city, and it's just coincidentally there, and this is the holy grail of all things. It's very cheesy.
None of that matters.
None of it matters. She gets kidnapped. The husband goes away. She gets reacquainted with an old boyfriend of hers, who's actually in another movie.
Yeah, Joe Manganiello. We'll talk about him again later.
Yeah.
He makes double dips on the show this week.
And it's a very nice, pleasant kids film. There's a lot of action in this. I believe it's rated PG.
Yeah, maybe.
There's nothing offensive at all throughout this whole movie. It really rings true of, and it's not a Disney, but it feels like one of those made-for TV movies Disney made, but a higher budget and better acting than what it was.
I like the kid cast.
The kid cast was pretty cool. I liked there was a lot of segues to different scenes, which made the pace seem to go really well, but it wasn't so obscure where you're like, well, this doesn't make sense at all. There's a costume change.
Of course.
In a store that seemingly doesn't have locks, but...
Yeah, right, exactly. No alarms, no nothing. Yeah. Come on in, get your outfit on.
And it was kind of cool. Clancy, she there's wonder if her dad is actually her dad for a while, and they never really address that too much. But it's kind of cool seeing Clancy being the budding adult and kind of following in the mother's genetic pool, I guess, and able to do kind of a lot of things a mom could do.
That was kind of unexplained. She kind of just like picked it up.
Yeah.
And you got 4 kids going out there. You got the 2 kids and then their friends. So you also have Mim and you have Lewis. Lewis, I love. Lucas J, I love him. He was in the movie Driveways that I reviewed earlier this year, one of the better movies of the year. And I think he carried that movie.
He was nothing really, pretty much in this.
This movie, they just kind of gave him he's a bedwetter.
Yeah.
There's your role.
Yep.
I did like what they did with the rest of them though. I thought that Kevin is the younger brother who nobody believed, and I thought he was kind of fun. But I really think Clancy, I think Sadie Stanley kind of stood out in this. I really enjoyed her in this movie.
He kind of comes off as feeling a little bit like Chunk from Goonies.
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. Like you said, the things that you were saying I enjoy, but when I walked away from it, I realized that was just kind of like a mediocre Scooby-Doo plot.
Yeah.
It was kind of like a lot of yelling. Like every scene, somebody's yelling. There's a lot of frantic stuff going on, but what really happened? Not much. We also introduced a bunch of cool gadgets that we never use.
No.
We're like, check this out. Look at this. Oh, look at all this stuff. We're not going to use that stuff.
Laser pen.
Yeah, that's
But on accident.
Yeah. And so I think that Ken Marino, his character just felt so one note, and I like him. I think he's a really funny comedic actor as the dad. And it's like, oh man, I just felt like they didn't give him a whole lot to do other than just kind of the same shtick for the entirety.
And the ending, it just kept on building up to the fact that he is going to be using his strong finger skills at some point.
Yeah. We open with him using the finger grip, and it's repeated over and over. Strong fingers, strong fingers. He's got such strong fingers.
He does have strong fingers.
And so I think that I thought the adults were kind of blah. I enjoyed the kids in this one. I liked a good chunk of the movie. I would have liked Joe Manganiello to do a little more too, because he's got a screen presence to him.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I think he's underused in most things he does right now.
Yeah. I really only know him very well from True Blood, but he hasn't really popped in anything else.
He was in a Marvel movie for a minute.
Yeah, and he's going to be in DC. He's going to be Slade.
Nice.
So you'll probably see more of him. He's a huge character.
He's a big guy. Why? He's Magic Mike. He's in the Magic Mike movies.
Yeah, I don't remember much of that.
I remember every minute of it.
I bet. The dancing was nice.
What would you give the Sleepover, sir?
All right. So
talk to me. I like when you have to preface it with.
Normally, I probably would have been like meh, but I did like how this was just a really nice film that you could probably show to any kid without hesitant of, the violence or profanity or anything else. It's
because it's cartoonish.
It's a
in that
very
way.
clean, pleasant film. It would have been 2.5 if it wasn't for the child presence. That you could be like, I do this, and I gave it a 3 because it is family friendly and action, and I wasn't bored, so there we go.
Well, you can't give a more glowing review than that. I gave the Sleepover 2.5 stars. Like I said, it feels like a regular Scooby-Doo mystery with the kids. They're just missing they kind of had a mystery machine. They were pulling masks off. They were dressing up. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on.
Yeah.
But Sleepover, not bad. It's on Netflix. Check it out if it sounds interesting to you. You got a kid, you want to watch some fun adventure. That's something that I do enjoy, though, like you say.
Yeah.
Because that's what I grew up on, fun kid adventure movies.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give it a break.
I think if I saw a bunch of other fun kid adventure movies, like in a row, this would hit the low on the list. But for what's available now, it's nice.
I got a good one for you here, sir. I've got a fun adventure movie for you.
Better.
Also from Netflix, we have the movie Drunk Parents from director Fred Wolf. You know Fred Wolf for being the artistic force behind Joe Dirt 2.
Oh, and
he's the guy who wrote and directed.
He did Joe Dirt, which was good.
2.
Just 2.
He did not do the first one.
And he did Dickie Roberts?
No, I don't think so. I think he might have wrote them, but he directed The House Bunny and Joe Dirt 2. So accomplished.
Well, I'm thinking. Oh, you go ahead.
Anyways, this stars Alec Baldwin and Selma Hayek as a husband and wife, the Teagardens, Frank and Nancy Teagarden. They are well-to-do couple who send their daughter off to college only to discover that they'd lost it all. They're broke, they're going to lose their house, and now they have to figure out how to keep their house and keep up appearances with the neighbors and their friends. So first, well, let's have a yard sale. But the yard sale goes nowhere except into a drunken mess. So then they decide to rent out their neighbor's house, which they are house watching. And they rent it out to strangers on Craigslist. And so enter Jim Gaffigan, the sex offender who eventually moves into their own house, and which allows a thief to come in and rob the neighbor Nigel's house. Thankfully, the moving truck is recovered with everything that he owns, because that becomes their new traveling home, as the Teagardens are homeless. And they have a man who is on a watch list living in their house. And they are traveling around in this moving truck full of neighbors' stolen furniture and trying to figure out how to keep up their appearances. They're very concerned with no one discovering that they need help. So they kind of dance around that.
It's...
you want
me
ahead.
to start? You
Go
want me
ahead.
to start ranting?
Yeah, have at it.
All right. This whole film felt like it was written Mad Lib style, where the writer was given a script, bare bones, and he just randomly, without looking at the script, threw in funny adjectives, nouns, and verbs in order to complete the film. There's one scene in particular, and most of the movie is like this, but there's a spider scene where Alec Baldwin is outside smoking a cigarette, and a spider lands on his cigarette, which he starts to choke on. Not because he swallowed it, but because there's a spider and he smoked it, and he's screaming for the Heimlich maneuver.
Sure.
And Selma Hayek comes out and hits him with a snow shovel. It's like, none of this makes sense. There was nothing in his throat. Why would he be screaming this? And this whole movie is like this. It just goes from one scene to another where nothing absolutely makes sense.
Sure.
And it became offensive because I like a lot of these actors.
Yeah, great cast.
And I started fuming afterwards, like, who has all this money to waste on garbage like this? You have Fred Wolf, who has written terrible things and directed terrible things, like not even mediocre good.
He's one of Sandler's lesser friends.
And, yep, he did Grown Ups, too, yeah. He's not funny, and they invested millions of dollars into making this, and at no point did the cameraman or actors or anybody said, no, we got to stop this. This is a waste of money.
Stop the madness. This movie, if you saw a movie a couple years ago called The House, you saw the majority of this movie. It's the same script. We lost our money. Our daughter went to college. We need to find a way to make up our money so that we can save the house before our daughter comes home and realizes that we're deadbeats.
So
that movie also starred Will Ferrell, who makes a couple of appearances in here. Also starred somebody lighting themselves on fire, which happens in this movie as well. The only difference is that this one, that one had Jason Mantzoukas in it, who I enjoy. This one didn't. Now, the movie itself kind of just goes nowhere, and I think Selma Hayek was good in what she was trying to do. I don't think she was given a lot. I like Selma Hayek. I like Alec Baldwin. I think he was a wasted space. Yeah. I actually enjoyed Jim Gaffigan in this movie. There's a moment in here, my favorite moment. I texted a friend. I said the only reason to watch this movie is there's a scene with Jim Gaffigan shirtless, like rave dancing in the house,
and he has a spandex.
And that got I blurt laugh on that one.
I did not. I was already well into the red zone.
I
anger.
enjoyed that.
And Jim Gaffigan, he's one of my favorite stand-up comedians. I've seen everything he has on Netflix.
Yeah.
He's great. And I don't know why. Everybody who's in this movie, I really have high opinions of.
Sure.
And it dropped, like, for their career for me.
Stop. I think the problem is there's just a lot of borrowed bits in this movie. It's uninspired.
It doesn't make sense.
So much in here that just didn't need to be there. The script wasn't great. It just felt empty. The script felt completely empty to me. I will say it got a couple chuckles out of me. Jim Gaffigan cast against type because he is the wholesome stand-up comic.
Yeah.
Casting him as a sex predator.
But
I liked that backstory to him, and you didn't use him that much. He just kind of pop in on him every once in a while. He's doing something crazy to their house.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, of course this guy would. He's a weirdo. Joe Manganiello shows up in this movie for he really does nothing either. He's just
the
brother-in-law.
Brother-in-law who is super manly but has no control over his kids.
Right, communicates with the kids through walkie-talkies.
And that gives another whole new pedophile spin because that was a common theme going throughout the movie.
Dare I ask what you gave Drunk Parents?
This is the worst movie I've seen of
that
the year.
Can't be true.
I can't think of anything
I can think of
worse
5
right
that I've seen that are worse than this. Did you watch Last Days of American Crime?
Yes.
Did you watch Artemis Fowl?
Yes.
Did you watch Coffee and Kareem?
And a lot
those
of
are all worse than this.
No.
Yeah.
All those movies felt coherent,
no!
even though they're bad.
Last Days of American Crime felt coherent to you.
In comparison.
No, you're crazy. All right, what did you give the movie?
Gave it a 0. It is terrible. Don't you say it was average.
It wasn't average. I'm just saying that Artemis Fowl spent 3 times the budget to make a worse movie than this.
Yeah, but I wasn't offended afterwards. I was just
they wasted
tired.
$100 million on that movie. Capone was a worse movie than this.
At least Artemis Fowl had, there's these novels, and maybe we could try this. Because it has a good story, we're just not going to write it well. This was from scratch. This was failure from the first letter on the page.
I believe this is our first 0-star movie of the year from either one of us. I think I might have given Capone 0 stars. I don't remember, but
I didn't see Capone.
Yeah, you're lucky. I gave it 1.5 stars. 1.5. It's not good. It's not worth seeing. It's not worth your time.
That 1.5 is all Jim Gaffigan.
It's all Jim Gaffigan. I'm in, man. Give me some more of that. Oh man, yeah, not the high recommend of the week for sure. Let's move ahead, sir. We are still celebrating our Summer of Keanu.
Yes.
It's still the hot days of summer. And we're talking about Keanu. And what are we talking about this week?
Well, we're kind of finishing it off with, I believe we're finishing it off.
Yeah, why not?
I don't know. Next week, we'll probably end up talking about Keanu Reeves a little bit more. But Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. This is the sequel or the prequel to the movie that starts this week, depending on how you want to look at your Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. So directed by Peter Hewitt, we have Keanu Reeves back as Ted and Alex Winter back as Bill. And they're a little bit older. They got their own place. And they're kind of trying to figure out how to be these all-stars, inspiring band members. And they just have to win Battle of the Bands.
That's it.
There's a problem.
What's that?
The guys in the future, they know that these guys inspire everybody, and the only way you could stop all this good peacefulness and bring it down more to a Third Reich type feel is to get rid of Bill and Ted.
It makes total sense.
You send robots that look exactly like them back to the past to kill them. Really, the best part of this film, I really enjoy Death.
Sure, William Sadler's great as Death.
Yeah, he is fantastic, and I could watch him all day being Death. The rest of the movie, not as good.
I'll say that the robots that they made to look like Bill and Ted were really good. They look a lot like Bill and Ted through the whole movie. There's only a couple moments where I realized, those are robots.
They didn't even use CG on that. That's all practical effects.
You know what's funny is I haven't rewatched this movie since 1991, right?
Yeah.
So I'm rewatching it for the first time.
Yeah, neither of us.
There's a couple of moments in here where they didn't even try to hide. The moments where you have both sets of Bill and Ted on the screen, where they don't even try to hide the fact that it's just 2 other actors in wigs standing there. Like there's a moment when they first meet, when the robots come and meet them, and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna go, let's get the babes, whatever," and they leave. And the first set walks by, and then you just see some skinny dude in a Keanu wig standing there, and some other dude in an Alex Winter wig and a hat, and I'm like, "Oh, they didn't even try. That looks like me with a wig on back there."
I really have to say I hate that alien. Static, I think his name was. Oh,
Station.
Station, yeah.
They yell it 100 times.
Yeah, they do. I forget. I really don't like that.
Yeah, I didn't love this movie. Like, I loved being back in the Bill and Ted world. I enjoy them. They're fun. They're knuckleheads. It's good. I think maybe like the lack of Rufus in this movie kind of like bummed me out. He's in it for like what, a minute and a half.
Yeah.
That is like, I like Death. I don't think he was a great surrogate for Rufus. And I just like, I don't know. It was all just a jumble to me. Like, everything was going on. Like, well, none of this matters.
No.
You know, and so it was fine, but this is how I remembered it in my mind too. Like, I forgot most of this movie after I watched it in the theater at this age, and I think back, like, I don't remember a whole lot about it.
Yeah.
And now, nothing, not a whole lot held with me.
It still kind of holds the same spirit as the original. It's all tongue-in-cheek. The movie does not take itself seriously at all.
To me, it felt like a cash grab, which it was.
It was, yeah.
This movie felt like we gotta try and then I read about it and like, yeah, the studio was about to go under, and they're like, well, we gotta keep this. We gotta keep Bill and Ted because this will make us some money.
And I bet it did.
I'm sure it did. Yeah.
Are they still around?
Probably
No.
not. Yeah, Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. Why not? Check it out.
If you were to give it a review now.
That's like 2.5.
Yeah?
Yeah. Maybe 3.
I'd probably give it a 3.
Yeah.
I did
it's
like
fun.
Death was fun.
That's true.
That's a weird thing to
Isolate
say.
that quote. We're going to need that for
fun.
the year-end episode. So let's take a look ahead at what is coming soon. I'm talking about the weekend of September 4th. We have a few things. First off, we have a film starring Mr. Liam Neeson. It is called Honest Thief. I'm sure he's got some skills in that movie.
Have I made the joke about him?
Never.
Oh, okay.
We also have on Netflix a film called Love Guaranteed, which is a rom-com starring Rachel Lee Cook, Heather Graham, and Damon Wayans Jr. That sounds like something right up Mike's, right up your path there. You love them rom-coms. Also on Netflix, a movie that I was very interested in at the start of the year. This was on my short list of my top 15 movies.
Yes.
Had completely forgotten about it. I'm thinking about ending things. Charlie Kaufman's new film starring Jessie Buckley and Jesse Plemons and Toni Collette. It is a drama horror film about a girlfriend and boyfriend who go to the one of the in-laws, the parents' house, meet the parents, and realize, I'm thinking of ending things. And a little horror drama in here. So I'm interested in that. Charlie Kaufman's a great writer and director. So we also have, I put this in my September 4th because it depends. Bill and Ted Face the Music comes out on VOD this week. But then in a lot of theaters the week of September 4th. You know, where do I put it? I put it in here. Bill and Ted Face the Music. You can get it in any form, I guess. It's one of those movies. You can get it on VOD. You can get it in theaters. Speaking of movies that were in theater, was going to be in theaters, and is now on VOD, Mulan will be coming out September 4th.
Oh yeah, I knew that.
Yes,
that
Disney
was
Plus.
$30.
$30 on Disney Plus. If you have Disney Plus and a cool $30, you can own Mulan to watch at your very own home. That will be coming the weekend
I feel
of
like
September
for
4th.
$30, they should send you a hard copy.
I agree.
When they make it.
Why not?
That feels
She gets
pricey.
something out of this, right? I'm already paying for the subscription. Send me something else.
Exactly.
Let's take a moment here to thank our sponsors, though. The grand reopening of the Palace, Marcus Theater's Palace Cinema here in Sun Prairie. The grand opening is happening, tomorrow as we record this. Went in, checked it all out, and our good friend Tom Reichelt, the GM there, took me on a little tour to show me what was going on there. I'll just give you a heads up. If you want to see a movie, there's only 10 seats in each theater right now. So get your tickets ahead of time. I don't think you're going to be walking up and getting a lot of tickets.
And people will find out real quick. Yeah, those tickets.
Yeah.
I have a feeling it's going to be once it's up, they're gone.
Yeah, pretty much. But we want to thank them for sponsoring our program, and we're excited that the lights are going to come on at the Palace this week. Sir, next week we got some movies we're going to be talking about. There, speaking of, because the theater's open, New Mutants is showing in theaters. Also, Christopher Nolan's Tenet is showing in theaters. There's a movie on Netflix called All Together Now from director Brett Haley, who I absolutely adore. He's the one who made The Hero with Sam Elliott and Hearts Beat Loud with Nick Offerman. Great movies.
Yeah.
He's got a movie coming on Netflix this week. Also a film called The Road's Not Taken, starring Javier Bardem and Selma Hayek. And The Binge, the movie on Hulu starring Vince Vaughn about Drugs are legal 1 day a year. Do them all, kids.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
Yeah,
Yep.
you might be seeing about it too. Because that's what we'll be talking about next week here on the program. Hey, if you want to keep up with us, find more from us, find us online, though. We are on Facebook and Instagram. We just started our Instagram account. Find us there at Real Reviews TV on all your social media platforms. We would love to chat with you there. But until next week when we talk about some more movies, I'm Jamison.
I'm Mike Roth.
Thanks for watching.